Do you know about this clip of the Bridon arc villains from the Surprising Click promo video? We didn't know much about these guys at the time that video was released, but after watching most of the Bridon arc episodes, my opinions about this trio are now very different from my first impressions of them. When Liu Xiao switched to this scene of him with Vayne, the ambience became much darker. At least compared to the scene with the twins. It was giving the impression that this trio is more threatening and more dangerous compared to the previous trio. Vayne later acted like as if he was shooting with a gun. To the audience, to us, it's quite a playful joke coming from a villain. It was also like a foreshadowing that he was involved on a certain incident that also had a gunshot. And he's even proud of it. Despite their smiles, Liu Xiao already had the aura of a manipulative mastermind, while Vayne already appeared wild, even though he wasn't saying anything. Xiave, on the other hand, looked ordinary, at least compared to these two. But since Xiave is associated to these psychos, there's no way he could have been a completely normal guy. So these two being close is a given. And since there had been a clip of Xiave doing poses as a model, his greeting and flying kiss act here is not unusual for a celebrity like him. Xiave later positions himself next to Vayne. It was quite interesting that he was able to stand next to someone as intimidating as Vayne with no problem. Well, Vayne looked at Xiaofei for a bit, and I thought Vayne's expression here is just saying something like, "Oh, you also exist?" As if Vayne didn't see Xiaofei on the same level. Then the clip ends with Vayne covering the camera. And those are my first impressions of them. But after watching the Bridon arc episodes, to me, the pose which these two are making on this scene is like a partners in crime pose. After all, it is similar to the pose by the siblings. The one on the right handles the scheming, while the one on the left is backing him up. These two don't only seem to see each other equally, but they seem to be very close too. After all, even though both of them are so wealthy that there could have been some hired driver to fetch Vayne from the airport, Liu Xiao personally picked him up instead. Most likely, Liu Xiao also used the same expensive looking sports car when he picked up Vayne. Anyway, back to the clip. When Vayne makes this shooting gesture, I suppose this had somewhat hinted that he was the one who shot our hero. Or perhaps he was simply joking. After all, Vayne is the type who talks about the smell and the taste of human flesh so casually. So this disturbing joke is normal for his character. But wait, this is directed to the audience, right? Is he shooting our hearts instead? Oh, it's super effective because I freaking love this tasty weirdo. Anyway, later we see Xiafei show up. Look at this darling saying hi to us. Hello cutie. You adorable troublemaker. He next gives us that flying kiss like the celebrity he is. Oh my god, he's so handsome! Well, they're all handsome. But Xiaofei is just more squishable. Oh, I want to pinch those cheeks because he's just so cute, 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 cute. We later see Xiafei positioning himself with the other two. But look at Vayne's eyes. Liu Xiao is still focused on us, right? While Vayne has switched his focus to the puppy getting close to him. Vayne is so lucky. He can touch this fluffy, fluffy, fluffy fur. I mean hair. Anyway, Liu Xiao didn't even show signs of acknowledging Xiafei's appearance, not even a quick look. So I really like it that Vayne had been different. He may be on stage and his performance is still ongoing, but even for a bit, He pays attention to this baby. I know that it will be more practical for Xiafei to position himself next to Vayne instead of walking around to be next to Liu Xiao here. But after I learned about Xiafei's admiration towards Vayne and hostility towards Liu Xiao, I think even if these two have switched positions, Xiafei would probably still stick to Vayne's side simply because he's just that biased to his big brother. It's canon of Xiafei to see Vayne as an older brother figure after all. He admires pretty much everything about Vayne, and that's only natural since Vayne is his savior and the one who cleans up the trouble he makes. I'm aware that the timing of Vayne's rescues are a little suspicious, but I've seen anime that had done more unbelievable stuff, so I simply accepted that perfect timing. Vayne is very overpowered and awesome anyway. So yeah, we see it too, Xiafei. We understand why you idolize him so much. You know, I think Xiafei is a huge Vayne fanboy. That I think some of his accessories are imitations to Vayne's style, like this earring on the left ear. Or maybe they are even Vayne's presents. Vayne is thoughtful enough to remember Xiafei's birthday after all. I like observing Vayne paying attention to Xiafei as the boy comes closer. Vayne did something similar when Xiafei introduced him to Cheng Xiaoshi. I don't remember Vayne looking at Xiafei in a negative way, even when he was punishing the boy. Actually, I think he's even being gentle. As a leader of a crime organization, it is natural for Vayne to be the type who could be very brutal to those who have wronged him. But with Xiafei, the most brutal thing he did were these flicks. Since he's the kinda sadistic type, flicking his finger once isn't enough. And of course, that's gotta hurt a lot. But a punishment like this from someone like Vayne, it's like this is already the most gentle punishment one could get from Vayne. Vayne didn't even sound angry. Seriously, he's been treating Xiafei with tender loving care in his own way. So, although it's a little disturbing for a freak like this to be called warm hearted, if it's to Xiafei, it's apparently true. Well, it seems to make more sense for Vayne's actions towards Xiafei to be genuine. I mean, I know Vayne could have been manipulating Xiafei, but after knowing more about Vayne, it's a little hard to believe since this guy cannot even pretend to be a normal person, then much less to pretend to be a nice person in order to control someone. So yeah, I firmly believe that Vayne truly sees Xiafei as family. He has this satisfied look on his face when he first rescued Xiafei, and he has this amused look on his face when he thought the widow Xiafei already called for help by just trying to escape from one guy. And even when a new person has caught his interest, Vayne still pays attention to Xiafei. Vayne always has Xiafei's back, even when the boy doesn't ask for it. Perhaps Vayne is just protecting his top model for the sake of his business, but he's clearly doing beyond that. He is really very protective of Xiafei, like an older brother. A reliable older brother who is just one call away whenever the younger brother needs help. He will always be there whenever his baby brother needs him. So, I think these two definitely have a mutual brotherly relationship. Xiafei's affection towards his big brother is not one sided. What's one sided is between Xiafei and Liu Xiao. You know, before watching the Bridon arc, I thought Vayne being at the center just meant that he happened to be the arrogant type who likes, well, being the center of everything. Like, he thinks of himself as their leader, or it could simply mean he's the main villain, or the most overpowered one among this trio. Well, maybe those thoughts are still valid until now, but this time, I also think that the main reason why Vayne is at the center is because he is the one who unites them. He is the link. He makes them work together. He is the one making these two cooperate. He is the glue that makes this team stick together. After all, Xiafei might not have accepted the side gig from Liu Xiao if Vane had not tried to persuade the kid. It was a pleasant surprise to see Xiafei openly express his dislike towards Liu Xiao. Well, he couldn't hide it even if he wanted to. But Liu Xiao didn't even mind that. And that's suspicious. Despite Xiafei's treatment towards him, Liu Xiao was still trying so hard to win Xiafei's favor. Maybe he is so patient because he needs Xiafei for something. He might be tolerating Xiafei's behavior because he is taking his time in making Xiafei join his side. Oh my god. Liu Xiao, what are you plotting? Huh? Anyway, so Vane really is the one at the center who connects them. Or maybe Vane's significance to them is much more than that. I'm so intrigued. I so want to know. But oh, Vane, why cover the camera so soon? Oh well, now that the last episode of the Bridon arc is approaching at the time this video was released, there might be something like a shocking plot twist related to this trio. I'm so nervous. What about you guys? What do you think about this trio's relationship after watching the Bridon arc? What are your predictions or theories about their fate? What is your opinion about their relationship with the main duo? Oh my gosh, I want to talk about that. But I'll save that for a future video or else I'll never be able to finish this one. So, as usual, just subscribe in order to be notified once the next video is ready, alright? And if you had enjoyed this video somehow, I would appreciate it if you click the like button. That always motivates me to create more link click content like this. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you again. Take care!